Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is is it Wednesday? It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday, July 16th. And we are at day 9 in the Big Brother house, even though for us, it seems like only like 3 or 4 since the feeds just came on Sunday night. No major super shifty changes happened overnight since I last talked to you. The house guests have settled in. We've got our nominees. We'll have 3 nominees tomorrow night, and they will do their battle. It's the Blockbuster. I have to think of the video store. You can think of it as they're on the block, and we're going to bust that block and get one of them off of it, right? So we have Zay, who we talked about a bit yesterday, who has a bit of a problem with certain words that he uses that he's trying to stop. We have Amy, who was also nominated with him at the same time, and who is a very strong ally of Rachel, and so is probably in the best position to stay. And we have Kelly, Kelley, who is from South Dakota, I think, and who I discovered last night as she talked in the feeds, has this condition. It's not a and I looked it up, and Wikipedia or wherever says it's actually not a, quote, condition. It's just something. I don't remember how it was phrased. I should have looked it up better or remembered it better myself, where she's apparently unable to visualize things. Like, she describes it as when she closes her eyes, she just sees black. She doesn't see. She can't see things in her imagination, I guess is the way you would say it. So I might be able to, in my head, as I'm sitting here, I can visualize a park and a tree and a bench and a dog, and there's the lake right there. And yeah, I can see all of those things as I say them. And to some of you that I'm describing that, as soon as I say those things, some version of that pops up in your own little mind's eye, right? As the term is. Well, she says that she doesn't get that. She only hears the words, I guess. So it's an interesting thing. It exists. I looked up the word when she said it, and that's how it's described. So she knows what she's talking about. Interesting little thing. Side note that it is. So Kelly is the renom after Monday's Power Veto meeting. As far as yesterday, again, there's so many discussions going on, so many interweaving alliances, talks, discussions. You can't necessarily get a super close, still get a grip on what's for real, right? Rachel is coaching everybody that she can talk to, or at least most people it seems. And, who is she really loyal to? I would say Amy. She's also had these long coaching sessions with Keanu, telling him how to be, and Keanu was the one that, in theory, was a possible renom, and it didn't happen. But he's going around trying to form this 10-person alliance, and Rachel has counseled him and said, "You need to stop doing that." He's also talked about going after Rachel, and Rachel said, "You need to kind of stop talking about me. I want to work with you, but you got to stop this stuff." So he's talking with a bunch of people, and then everybody else is talking with everybody else. It's just, there's a lot. And I will say that for right now, there are two main accounts out there that kind of do alliance maps of a slightly different sort. Big Brother Junkie, who's also known as Razor Skates, does really just kind of a relationship page a lot of times. Actually, they do more than one page, but they do a picture showing relationships or different alliances and stuff, but kind of just all laid across a page. And then you've got Dolfica, who's been around for years now, and who does a similar thing and I'm not taking credit for this because I wasn't the first one to do it, and I have talked about it many times before. I found my Big Brother 12, I think it was, I did an alliance map in Microsoft Paint, kind of like, here's connections and here's relationships. And Dolfica came on the scene just a few years later, and she just blows it out of the park. She is so good at capturing all of those relationships, all of those lines, dotted, direct, groups, all of that, and she works very hard at that. And she has yet, unless she's done it this morning, to put out an alliance map. And I understand why. There is so much going on, keeping track of it all, and what is legit and what is just lip service is the other problem. There are some people that think they're in alliances and they're not, and generally Dolfica doesn't include fake alliances, right? So she's still trying to figure it out, and until she does, I'm just trying to still figure it out. So I've got my list of cast members, but I am not trying to figure out who is Jimmy closest to, right? I don't know who Jimmy is closest to right now. I really don't. He seems to be working with people. Some would say he's been running Vince's head of household, right? So is he close to Vince, or is he just using Vince because Vince is head of household? I think Jimmy would say, oh, I'm just using him because he's head of household, right? So we don't have specific alliances yet. It's just very hard to tell. We'll get a better sense probably next this coming Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, once we have a new head of household and the vote has been shown, because they're still debating on whether they want to do a 100%, everybody vote the same, or a split vote. And they're still counting votes. They're doing it publicly. They're lining up things. They had strawberries on the counter, I think day before yesterday, counting out votes. Some of them trying to figure it out. So it's just all over the place. And they're openly talking about people that don't agree on the vote are kind of saying like, well, no, if it's these two, that's with the three people potential to choose between. They're constantly playing out scenarios. It's good in some ways. The TV people have plenty to talk about, so I don't think they care. For us, at this point, we're usually down to two people, and it sets up major house swings. And this new version, this three people thing, which started last year, kind of takes that away. You don't have the major house swings, and you have lots of variables, and so you don't get that solidification of groups because they're all fluid. It all depends on who wins the blockbuster on Thursday. So let's talk about that. So you've got Zay, again, who is Isaiah. You've got Amy, and you've got Kelly. One of those three will win this blockbuster, and we don't know what kind of blockbuster it's going to be. And they're talking about who can compete and who can't. It is a crap show. It is a crapshoot. I mean, it may not be. It may be a physical comp, in which case it may favor Zay. But we've seen women and we've seen people dominate and do well that you didn't expect to. It could have, any three of them could win this on Thursday. So let's talk about who wins. So if Zay wins, first of all, then it comes down to Kelly and Amy. Amy probably stays, at least right now. That's how it seems, that Amy has enough backing, and Rachel's really pushing for it, that Kelly will probably leave. It gets a little bit more interesting if Amy is the safe one and it comes down to Zay and Kelly. That's where I want to say that I think Zay will go. The women are pushing very hard now to keep women, right? And Kelly had a heart-to-heart talk with a lot of the women last night, and at least when she walked away, the group of women she was talking to said, well, I was thinking about keeping Zay, but now I think I want to keep Kelly. Now, that's a Tuesday night, and we got to get to Thursday, right? So that doesn't lock anything in. But it's an indication that it's a possible thing to happen. Zay is also constantly scrambling, and he knows that he needs to scramble. And the guy talks so fast. He talks a mile a minute. He'll be out there working all day today. He'll be working probably all day on Thursday. So who's to say that Kelly is safe if it comes down between him and Kelly? And then if it comes down to Zay and Amy, if Kelly wins, did I cover it? I think Zay will go as well. I think if Zay is on the block at the end of the night, he goes. If Kelly is on the block, she goes against Amy. She stays against Zay. And so that's the alternatives, because if Amy's up there, she's safe. If Amy's on the block, she's safe. If Zay's on the block, he goes. And if Kelly's on the block, she stays against Zay and she goes against Amy. That's the three possible outcomes or ways things could go. I think that is the major bits. The only other bit they did actually, by the way, it's already been released, teasers for tonight's episode, which, what's the spoil? It just shows the fallout from Vincent nominating Ashley kind of freaking out, shows a big discussion in the head of household room. It's just a clip from tonight's show. And it also shows Jimmy at the end of the power veto meeting standing up and wanting to say something, but it's just literally a cliffhanger moment. So hopefully they show all that. It's a 90-minute episode, I believe, tonight, so they should have time to get through the power veto meeting. We'll see if they do, or if they decide to do a cliffhanger or end the show with the Jimmy. I cannot believe that they would release a teaser showing Jimmy saying, "I'd like to say something," and then the show ends. And then they show that as a teaser for tonight's episode. I can't see that happening. So I'm going to guess that we'll get to see Jimmy's little bit about people being snakes on tonight's episode, and at least a little bit of the fallout from that. Back to Jimmy. I don't remember what he did, I don't know what he did to annoy Mickey. I think he said he wasn't going to do something, like he wasn't going to talk one day, or was going to say campaign or whatever, and he ended up doing it. And so he's like, you know what, I did what I said I wasn't going to do, so I will be your butler for most of the day. Mickey's butler, that is. Now, he's doing this stuff to get on TV, guys. He's doing it because he thinks he's going to make content for CBS to use. And there was a debate online about whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. And there's people that are like, hey, whatever you got to do to, you make your thing. It's like, yeah, I get it. But on the other hand, manufacturing stuff for reality TV is annoying. I would just stick to the reality and just stick to the natural flow of things. Stop creating things solely because you think it will get on TV. That I don't like the manipulating. I don't like the house guests manipulating the viewer, which happens, by the way. I mean, that's part of it. The best players sometimes are very good at manipulating the viewer. So it's okay. It's not to say that Jimmy's a bad player. It just annoys me. So he's doing this butler bit yesterday, and Jeeves, which is it's a very famous butler character from the 20s or 30s, at least. And of course, there was a website called Ask Jeeves. So he was doing a butler. And the example I can give is I don't know why he worked this out, but with Mickey, was having him model bathing suits, like Mickey's bathing suits. So he was putting what they may or may not show is he walks out in the backyard in a like a black suit jacket and a top, and then he had blue shorts on, but he had a leopard print bikini top over all of that. Like, what do you think of this? And it was just silly. That he modeled it, so that'll probably make the air. And then the other thing of note is that later in the day, I think Vince shared his head of household alcohol. So they did some little bit of drinking in the backyard, not much. They probably have 3 or 4 beers at most. And I don't know if Jimmy fell asleep in the backyard, but he stayed out in the backyard too long without a shirt on, and he got nice and crispy sunburned. So he's quite red at the moment. And I think who else got sunburned? I don't remember who else got. Somebody else got a little sunburn too. I can't remember, but Jimmy was the major sunburn getter. I don't think he did that to get on TV. I think he just got sunburned. So that's it. That's what's up. It is again Wednesday. We got a whole nother day of stuff to go on, and I don't know when the house gets to lose the backyard. They may have already lost it in prep for tonight's or for tomorrow night's episode. We'll see, but there's lots of rooms in the house to scheme and to talk and everything. So that's what I got for you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing this with your friends if you do. Shout out to my people on Blue Sky. I'm really, as I've said on there, very happy with the way things have been going over there. We've got a nice community of people, lots of people sharing updates and everything. So if any of your hesitancy of heading over to Blue Sky was because there would be a vacuum of information, I don't find that to be the case at all. There's lots of people, lots of updates going on, lots of talking and discussion. And at least on my view of it, that is not the only view, I'm not seeing a whole lot of fighting or yelling or name calling among the participants of the site. So that's what I got. We'll talk to you guys probably tomorrow morning. I don't anticipate anything major happening before then to warrant firing up another podcast. All right, be well. Holler at me if you don't. Or if you're not, if you have a question, you can ask me on Blue Sky. You can ask me on Twitter too if you're following me. I'm still checking Twitter. I'm still there. I'm just not posting there except for to post my podcast links. And then you will always email me at ilovereality@gmail.com. All right, take care, everybody. Bye bye.